You have arrived to We Fixed Real Estate.
Oh, I like
Home of the Eagles flight song. Fight song, not flight song. Fight song.
You messed it up beautifully. Beautiful thing.
We have Chris Gustavel and René Pérez also on the show today. Fred, he's got his nice bird hat on. And we are talking real estate. Fred, what's top of mind for you today?
Go birds. That's number one. Number two, I started with a new watermelon thing, and this is really good. It's just watermelon juice, filtered water, and lemon juice. No other junk in it. Great for hydration. 405 milligrams of electrolytes. Drink it. You'll feel better. It's good stuff.
Maybe these guys will actually send you a case. The coconut people never did.
Exactly. So we'll send the link to this podcast to these guys. WTR MLN WTR. Cold pressed watermelon blend. Let's see where this was from. I can't read it. It's so tiny, but that's made by the Kareem Juice Company of Charlottesville, Virginia.
Hopefully they're not Chiefs fans.
Well, nah, they're in Virginia. You're probably Washington Commander fans, and so they're sulking today. Anyway, I can't see where it's from, so maybe they do it right here in the USA, whereas the other thing came from Vietnam, believe it or not. So, anywho, talking about hydration. So, as I said earlier, I'm in Philadelphia, and there's actually a reason I'm here. Last Saturday, a week ago Saturday, I don't even remember. But anyway, I was in Los Angeles, and I had been in the hospital Monday before because I was just coughing like crazy. And I don't live near the fires, but everything kind of filtered down to me, and all the smoke and with all the things that were just horrible. I mean, the whole thing was horrible, but asbestos and who knows what was in the air. Went to the hospital, got a thingy to spray in my mouth. They gave me a steroid, take a little cough syrup, and I was fine for a few days. But I went out on Friday, even with the mask, and Friday night, I was just coughing like crazy. So I said, I'm out of here. So actually went to Seattle, did some stuff with Chris. We saw one of our buyers has a house that's right on the water in, I'm going to pronounce it wrong, Burien.
That's right. Burien.
Burien. There you go. I'm getting it. It's spelled differently and it's not in my head yet. But this is an issue with this house and this is what we're pushing every single buyer to do. And you should all do this, is a sewer video, because we found like all kinds of crap and broken up stuff.
Literally.
Yeah, literally. Literally, sorry. Yeah. And we encourage everybody to get these sewer inspections. It's not something that's kind of normally done, but the fact is nobody knows what's in that sewer.
Yeah.
Especially if you have a tree in front of the house that's old and has roots, it may be climbing in there. You don't know what the sewer system is coated with. Is it plastic? Is it terracotta? It's just great to find these things out. So we found it was ugly, and the seller is fixing it, but of course they're going through nightmares with approvals and all that kind of stuff. I wouldn't get into it because every one of these is different. So out I came to Philadelphia where my grandkids are.
One more thing on the sewer. I can definitely say that is something I would absolutely do if I ever bought a house. Right after I bought my house 14 years ago, I had to replace the sewer line from the house to the street.
Really?
Very same reason. It was an old 1964 house, terracotta pipe, and it had to get it relined. And I would have liked to have known that before I moved in.
Yeah.
$70,000 later.
Yeah. Well, and I want to emphasize to everybody, even now, I mean, I'm going back tomorrow night, so I'll be there Wednesday, so 2 days from now. That we're filming this on Monday, January 27th. So give you an idea. The air is still, even though it rained, the air is better, but you still don't know what's in the air. The problem we're going to have now is stuff's going to wash away into maybe the water system. So only going to drink bottled water. for now. There's ramifications for this other than the people who lost their homes, and it's been horrible. But mask up, people, and don't try to exercise outside. It's just, you just don't know what's going to go into your lungs. And that's a problem. So it might be 10 years from now and it affects you, but it's a mess. It's absolute mess.
I read an interesting article about we did have rain. We had a good amount last night. But everybody's like, oh, good, fire season's over. But I read this article about a 1 hour burn, a 10-hour burn, and a 100-hour burn. And those are the different levels so 1 hour is all the dry grass and stuff. So these rains are going to basically fix that 1 hour grass. It'll be wet for maybe 2 days and then it'll be dry again. But this one rainstorm, the 10-hour burn is going to be like the scrub brush. This amount of rain isn't going to do anything for adding water to the scrub brush. And it's going to do absolutely nothing to the 100-hour, which is the actual trees and the dryness of the trees.
Right. And the land is still so hard. Where's the water going? It's just pounding and running off. And that's part of the problem. It's not getting absorbed into the dirt. We need a month of rain before it really goes down there. And I'm exaggerating probably, but yeah.
Oh, like the rain 4 days from now is going to soak in a little bit more, but there won't be rain 4 days from now. Ideally, there would be rain like consistently every 3-4 days. And then you get that groundwater.
The other thing, the other problem you're going to have in these areas are, if you want to buy a property, is insurance. And we have one of our people is trying to buy a property in Arcadia, which is just south of where the Altadena fire was. She only got one quote, and it ends up that quote was just an automated thing. And she's going through Fair Plan. And we're just crossing our fingers that we're able to get something done. So insurance is going to be a problem. And there's a million articles out there about it. And just before you put an offer in on anything in areas like this, even up in San Francisco, we have a issue up in Danville. So anywhere where there's going to be trees or it's going to be fires, you really got to check before you put an agreement in or make it your offer contingent upon getting insurance. I think most sellers understand that now. Also ask who the current insurer is, and maybe you can take it over. But if it's State Farm or Allstate, forget it.
Yeah.
They've already pulled out. So
you mentioned Fair Plan. I know people that listen to the show routinely have heard us talk about it before, but for someone that's just tuned in, tell us, what is Fair Plan?
It's the insurance of last resort. And it's run by the state of California. I don't know where all the sources come from. They may get some federal money to it, but basically, hey, if you can't get insured anywhere else, we'll insure you. And it's just for very specific things like wildfires. It's not for liability. You have to do a separate liability policy, but talk to a professional who's in the insurance business. Let them go over the details of the individual house. If you're buying in a condo, make sure that the association has their master policy. Important. It's being canceled. Financing. It's just a mess.
Is it just California? Is it just California that has Fair Plan?
I believe there's other states that do.
Okay.
For one, and Google it in your state. And again, talk to an insurance broker.
Yeah,
pretty much Fair Plan is the same price no matter what broker you go to, because it's all coming. They're just giving you the price. That's the other thing. It's horrible.
You were mentioning you're in. I cut you off and started talking about fires. What about you're in Philadelphia right now?
Yes, I am. Where it is cold, or it was very cold. Not as cold, but yeah, I'm not a fan of the cold, but I bundled up well and basically stayed inside, so it's not a big deal. Here I am, and here, I didn't go to the game, but watching the faithful after the game polluting. I mean, there's just thousands and thousands of people in the street. right near City Hall, just south of it. It's called Broad Street.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just a sea of people. It looked like they had won the championship. It's going to be this. And of course, there was the kids climbing up poles, and there was a bunch of guys standing on I think it was a steakhouse or something, where they were on the awning and half of them fell off. It's so Philadelphia. But they're up there chanting the Eagles chant and, drinking beer. So it's a Philly thing.
That's
So we
awesome.
enjoy it. Yeah. Anyway.
Renee, how are you doing? I have not heard from you yet this episode. What's top of mind for you?
Yeah. Well, we certainly, I think I was looking for a graph that would showcase the largest cancellations on record for purchases.
Oh,
But I mean, as we talk about fires, and as we talk about unknowns, we can't verify what a property, you're going to see a surge in that. So, for those looking into selling their houses in the last couple of months, you see a lot of flaky buyers, right? So that's the other problem, and that is why cash is king, right? I think, I know I'm kind of mixing in a lot of conversations here, but that is why when a person gets an offer and an offer is cash, you don't have to deal with appraisals. You don't have to deal with insurance. A lot of wealthy people, for whatever reason, could care less about insuring their property, right? Because they figure it's a scam, which, when you don't need it, you don't care for it, and it's overpriced. Problem is, those who need it the most, are kind of stuck with paying it every month. So it's a little bit of both.
You bring up something interesting. So there's these statistics that everybody throws out. Oh, all these properties in Pacific Palisades. Oh, that was a $7 million house. But if you look at it at, just to make up a number, $500 a square foot, and it was a 2,500 square foot house, that's the price of building it back. The rest of the value, which is the majority of the value on any property in California, is in the land value. So you're not insuring the land, you're insuring the building. So I guess these people are thinking, why should I pay, $10,000, $20,000 a year when, God forbid, something happens and I can afford to pay $1 million and build a new one? I think that's more of your thought pattern on it.
Yes, but that's not entirely accurate, because the insurance doesn't just give you a payout based on the actual building. With them, it's, and that's why it's really important to collect receipts of everything you own. And that's why people who are prone to these disasters, you should always have videos, pictures of everything you own, because what the insurers are going to want to have is a list of everything you own, right? And the price of what it would cost to replace them. And the way that the insurers are going to release, and typically release the funds, is, oh, okay, you replaced this product and it was this cost. Well, we can then give you an extra amount because it's verifiable. And they'll give you an option. It's like when you crash your vehicle. I think a lot of people would have a little bit more insight into that. They might say, oh, your car is worth $10,000. You go and try to buy that car and find out, like, no, I can't get that car for $10,000. Then you can have an adjuster kind of change that amount, right? So, yes, it's for the most part for the building, but obviously, if you're more wealthy, you're going to have more designer clothing. You're going to have more computers. So it's, yes, it's for the land, but there's more to it. So,
without a doubt, but everybody likes to throw out that big number. Oh, it's $12 million property. Yeah, but take out the land, it's a different story what you're building back. So it doesn't look as bad as insurance payout.
Yeah.
And again, that's really my point. So don't be swayed by the top line. Know the details. But yeah. Anyway, also another thing, insurance adjusters. These guys are the greatest. They know the game that the insurance company's going to play with you. So I don't know what they charge, but normally it's worth it. Totally worth it. And anybody else out there, and Renee said it, but I'll accentuate it. Go and do a walkthrough video of your entire house, from get in the door, see everything you have, open cabinets, everything, and have a video of that. And then obviously stored in the cloud, so you'll be fine. But this way, hey, here it is. And you can use that, and that'll help the adjuster.
Smart. I remember finding a bunch of I was going through a box and I found a bunch of pictures that I took, I think in 1998, of all the stuff I owned in my apartment, for that very same reason. But
you own any of it still?
No, but I was curious. It was like the time capsule. Yeah, I can't believe I actually took a picture of that. Like every CD I had, all vinyl records. It was pretty funny.
Very cool. All right, Chris, what's going on in Seattle?
Really cold. Sick of it being cold. We're not used to this.
What's the temperature average?
Like
40s?
No, like high 30s, low 40s.
Ew.
Yeah. And it hasn't rained in weeks. It's weird. It's not like Seattle.
Wow, that is cold.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I feel.
How's the insurance situation up in Washington?
I mean, I think it's okay. I haven't had that much. It seems like our clients are able to get it easily. I mean, we don't have, the good thing about Washington, we don't really have any natural disasters besides maybe an earthquake. Other than that, like no fires,
rainstorms,
no hurricanes.
A month of rain, and but everybody kind of prepares for the rain and water deviations, and
we don't have many we don't have many slides. Like when we have big rains, it's very rare to have mudslides around here. So.
Yeah, because everybody's prepared for it.
Yeah,
basically.
You think maybe like in Eastern Washington, like in Tri-Cities area, you might get some fire issues.
Oh yeah, over there where it's dry and hot. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, in Washington, you see a lot of more mold. That's our houses.
Yeah. It's funny. A couple of inspectors out there tell me you don't need to do termites because there aren't any termites up there.
I've never heard of a termite up here, but I don't.
There isn't termites in Washington. Wow.
I don't know. I'm sure there are, but it's not a thing.
Termites seem a little robust. Maybe not drywood termites, but
maybe they don't like the cold, the wet, the damp, or something.
Well, right. Basically, it's not just termites you're checking for; it's wood destroying insects. Mm-hmm. And if you do an FHA or a VA, especially a VA loan, I think on an FHA, you have to have a termite report.
Okay,
it's required. So, anybody wants details on that, talk to a home inspector. See what they say, get their opinion on it.
Yeah.
Because sewer, definitely one, that's for sure. We've said that before.
Seattle for sure. And
roof inspections, probably more, because roofs don't last as long. Where in California, we have roof inspections, but it's just sun on them. So not a lot of rain. Different story up there. Anyway, all real estate is local. Three most important things in real estate are location, location, and location. We've said the obvious.
I would say one of the bigger issues in Seattle, and Chris, maybe you can confirm this or deny it, is older homes that have like the really nice historic homes that have those really special windows and all the woodworking. There's a shortage of actual people that can service those windows.
Oh, I mean, I didn't know that, but that makes sense because there's all those beautiful homes where you want to really keep that kind of detail.
You want to preserve it. Yeah. And if you're buying a house and you think you're going to fix it up, you better check to see if there's actually someone that has the skill level that can actually replace all that woodwork or replace those windows. So you're not just sticking new Milford windows in this
that ruins
house. So that's if anybody's looking for a trade, and I've talked to a friend who's a woodworker up there, that is a trade that it will be in demand for a long time.
Okay.
Until they perfect the 3D printing of them. So.
Well, you can't, because you want to have the historical wood. It has to be all hand done. And our friends that are trying to redo their windows, there's a 2-year wait list for them to get their windows done correctly.
Oh, wow.
Wow. And it's not easy to just take your existing windows and make them into double pane.
No, because then it wouldn't look historically correct.
Exactly. So,
He would have destroyed your house value.
Pretty much. Yeah. Interesting.
That is an issue I do see. And that might be in San Francisco too. A lot of those older homes, especially in the East Bay.
Oh, down in LA here, you have the stuff in the 20s and the 30s, Spanish styles. There's a bunch of, really cool stuff. And yeah, you can't, sometimes you can't even, the shape of the window is weird. You can't even buy a standard window replacement. So it has to be.
No, since we're talking about insurance, like you've got this damage and you've got these historic windows with a historic home. And the insurance company is just forcing you to go to like Milford or any of those other like new window producers.
Switch to get the insurance adjuster. That's an insurance adjuster, and again, talk to your insurance person to find out the details of what's in your policy. Throw your policy into some kind of AI and ask it. It's another idea.
Yeah. Yesterday with ChatGPT, now it's DeepSeek is the new word that came out today or yesterday.
Yeah. Yesterday. Yeah. I tried to log on to the app
so here's what's happening. Because of record usage, they locked it for explore in mainland China. So that's what it comes. But also, if you're in America, you should not be using a Chinese product where they sell your data. Come on now. I mean, but here's how you can connect. What is it called again?
DeepSeek.
Yeah. Here's how you can connect DeepSeek to real estate. Right. What's happening in the stock market now, and what happens with DeepSeek is when you purchase the newest house in the block.
Stuff's crashing right now. If they're going
when things are great, yes, you buy the newest house. But when someone finds out that the house next door is not really worth that much, then that new minted house that's like ChatGPT is worth nothing. I mean, Nvidia tumbling 20% today. Every stock is, there's probably $1 trillion in losses as of this morning. So,
or it's also profit taking. So, there's a reason for it, but the real people know what they're doing are profit taking, and then the rest are panicking. They're individual people.
But this story is still evolving, and by the time everybody listens to this on Friday, this will probably all be bullshit. But I read earlier
some Swedish product
company so DeepSeek came out and said, we did this for $6 million and we didn't use any NVIDIA chips. But if you look back at the company that funded this DeepSeek, they bought the NVIDIA chips years ago. So there's a good chance that there's smoke and mirrors going on. They actually did for a lot more and use the NVIDIA chips, which they shouldn't be allowed, which they, due to the recent regulations, they shouldn't have been allowed to buy, but they bought them before the regulations were in place.
Yeah, but I do think that it's still, if you look at at least at what they're releasing as the cost estimates, it is still cheaper to use it than ChatGPT, for example. So that just makes it so that, the house that you think is worth $5 million, when actually a better comparison is when cheap 3D printed homes come out, your $5 million house is not going to be worth $5 million houses. So that's where you can make that connection. Because we're going to see that it's probably more expensive, but when there's more competition, even like with EVs, right? 10 years ago, you could not buy an electric vehicle for less than like 80,000. I think I paid like 70,000 for my Tesla. Now everyone and their mother can get, 2 Teslas for $20,000, right?
You get 2 for 20. Jeez, we overpaid.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah. Well, you can get a 2022 Tesla, with like, 70,000 miles for 20 grand.
Wow.
Yeah. So
good point. Don't follow the shiny object syndrome.
Yeah.
Or be aware of it. Because
I'd say like when you look at real estate, like, oh, what should I buy? Don't focus on like, oh, this is a remodeled house. Put in the work. Focus on buying the actual land, and you fix it up later. You spend the money on getting it pretty, because then you created the layout that you wanted. I know that building is really difficult, but it is possible. And if the house is actually livable, even if it's a outdated home, always buy that versus the new construction.
Yeah, because some of these established communities, that shiny object syndrome is not quite as prevalent is like you go out east where they're building master plan communities, or like near Aurora, Colorado, where one neighborhood's no different than another neighborhood. As soon as you definitely get that shiny object neighborhood syndrome there.
And all these new constructions, again, it's going to be a really small lawn where the backyard's really small. So what happens when you have 50 of those in the market? I have a friend up in the, it's North Carolina, and he put his house up for rent. And it's like, oh yeah, I can't rent it because there's a lot of work from home orders to go back to the office, and there's 6 houses for rent on the same block. Well, and that also affects the rent as well. So especially in those markets, yeah, maybe it won't affect San Francisco and Los Angeles as much as the more like investor friendly locations. But yeah, I'll always focus on the actual full lawn square footage. Secondarily, even with me saying this, there's been a bigger demand for new construction. When the pandemic first started, or when the pandemic shifted from everybody being scared to, hey, there's not enough inventory, what we saw in new construction was a lot of builders would have a bidding day. And let's say that I'm representing you. We would go and go to the model home, and we would on the spot bid for the home. Oh, it would be $1 million going once, $1 million going twice. Oh, $1,050,000, right? So that's how the bidding was. On Saturday, I actually went with the new construction here in Union City, who is doing that again. They're setting up a bid date for next week, and they said, yeah, we have at least 20 interested parties that wanted to make sure that they can get an offer in. So it's tough because I would say don't bid on this new construction stuff. The backyard's so small, and yeah, you don't have to deal with any of the maintenance for the next 5-10 years, but it's not. I don't think it's worth it. So
you brought up an interesting point about the return to work. A lot of people moved further afield when they had the remote work option, because it was just cheaper land. Like here in Southern California, where I am, a lot of people moved out to Hemet. They moved out to Temecula because they didn't have to drive into downtown San Diego to work every day. But now a lot of those people are being forced to return. Have you started to see the housing prices in the fringe areas go down because of this, or is it a little too early and more of a, we think this is going to happen and this is happening?
I think most of those people rented temporarily. I mean, property in Idaho has dropped because, like people have to move back to Amazon. And there was an article, I think it was a newscast, local news, that had a story about the fact that, hey, traffic is hell. And especially in the morning commute to get off to go to Amazon, it's taken an hour what used to take 15 minutes. So, we're getting back to that stuff. But, there's more demand in Seattle.
Yeah.
Because of it. I mean, between Amazon, Microsoft, Boeing, I mean, they want you back in the office. And so you got to get back to town.
An increase in commute or increase in traffic, or is it just always bad?
In Seattle?
Yeah.
I don't commute at those times, like first thing in the morning, so I couldn't tell you, but traffic is bad. I mean, like in the evenings, but that article you're talking about, Fred, was the West Seattle Bridge, which is people going over. It's like a small 2-lane thing that can get really congested. So I could see like commuting from West Seattle to Seattle would not be good.
Right. Because, all the people in Bellevue now have to get downtown.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you want to live in the expensive place, and you gotta take the commute in your used $20,000 Tesla. That's just nothing else. But there's two kinds of people with Tesla. There's ones that have the bumper stickers and ones that don't. So there's the, hey, I bought it before he became, whatever he is now.
Oh, we're not going to start that, or people are going to do that now? Jeez.
Yeah, no, they're already doing it. They're already.
I see a lot of those bumper stickers.
Yeah.
I'm serious. Then on the TikTok, you'd see, this guy in Tesla cutting me off and running down and what? It's just whatever, kids.
He probably didn't. It was the auto driving. I had it on the other day in my wife's Tesla, and it was kind of driving like an asshole. And I wasn't even touching.
Oh, you had asshole mode turned on.
Yeah.
Maybe it has asshole mode.
It's something that he probably has.
I'm like, I can't believe you just passed that guy.
There we go. Yeah. Check the Tesla updates to see if you can have normal mode and asshole mode. Maybe. Crazy. All right. Is that enough aggravation for all of us?
I think it's good. Unless you want to end by your own rendition of Fly Eagles Fly.
God, no, my voice is terrible, but
No, you'll have to tune in and listen to. I think we're up
42 to 37. That's my prediction for the final score.
42 to 37.
Take the over. Yeah.
Okay.
That's what I'm thinking.
Chris, any predictions with you on this upcoming?
I hope that the Eagles win. That's all I gotta say.
I hope for Fred the Eagles.
I don't want the Chiefs to win.
We're tired of the Chiefs.
I'm over it. I'm sick of them.
Everybody's over it. Yeah.
How about you, Renee? What's your prediction?
I think that I think they just legalized gambling in all 50 states. So I'm going to try to see if I can.
No, it's not in California. Where'd you hear that?
I think, I'll check. I'm going to check. And then I'll see where the odds are. And then I'll put my money on whoever has the highest odds so far. How's that?
All right. He's not emotionally involved. I'm going to forgive him.
I'm emotionally involved, Fred, because you're emotionally involved.
There you go. Fly, Eagles, fly.
Fly, Eagles, fly. But it's the fight song, not the flight song.
Yeah, actually, Policy has Kansas City at 54%.
So.
Yeah, but they got the Taylor Swift vote, so, But she's actually an Eagles fan, which will be really tough for her. We'll see what happens. That'll be interesting.
We'll keep you posted here.
And there you go. Probably not. That's okay.
Yeah.
All right. Give your awkward ending, Drew.
Yes, for anyone that's still listening, and I'm pretty sure you all are because it's been riveting. This has been another episode of We Fixed Real Estate.